All right, good. Everything seems to work. Cool. Oh yeah, welcome back after the 4th of July weekend. Hope you all had a good time. And straight away back into the markets. And who made this happen, huh? Somebody shorted it. Somebody said something and the market went down. Who shorted it? I think I saw a few good screenshots earlier. 3 or 4 of you guys got this drop. Looks like fun, huh? This is the 15-minute ES chart. I'm only looking at it now. The last few hours I wasn't here. So that's interesting. Anyways, whatever it is, it's in a consolidation at the moment. You can see candles overlapping each other, right? So you don't want to go long or short inside here. If you're looking at it, if you want to trade, I'd wait for a breakout either way. For a reversal, you get the breakout to the upside. For continuation, a breakout to the downside. So at the moment, no room to the left, and you don't want to play with this. And it could easily put in another move today. Let's see. Let's see. What I was looking at was on this 15-minute chart. I took a long from here earlier, added into it, and I think it was on this drop where I got out at about break even. My target was up in this area. It got close. Anyways, very choppy price action. And as you can see, when it's choppy and you keep moving your stop higher and higher, at some point it's going to take you out at break even, right? Or at that stop. For me, that's always break even. So that's pretty much it. That's all I've looked at today. The whole basis of this trade was a reversal. You can see where it came down and then reverse, right? And a reversal, you have to have a couple of things going. Firstly, you need a key level that you believe in. For me, this was an obvious level. Zooming back to the left, you can see this consolidation. This was the resistance. Then when the move started, broke right through there. And further to the left, yeah, it's basically a bin resistance. It got a little messy. But it's a level I believed in because most recently the move went from that consolidation. And it went and it came back. But this is not a retest of that breakout. This is a reversal, as in the price came down and reversing the other way. Anyone want to know why? Anyone want to tell me why this is not a retest of that previous breakout? Anybody? Don't make me repeat it. Come on, you guys know this stuff. Somebody say something, please. I'm gonna go crazy here.
Has it already made the move?
Thank you, Ronak. There we go. Yeah, it already made the move. This is the target. Pretty obvious target. You can see resistance, right? Very recent resistance. So it broke out and it hit that target. And after that, you're not looking at a retest. You're just looking at a reversal. So it came back here in this level, or in the area of this level. The retest, the reversal is basically this bullish hammer with room to the left. It's a little tricky because it happened right after a big bearish candle. But also you got to look at this big bearish candle right before it was another piece of bullish activity, right? You can see the big wick on this one. So I'm looking at that activity together and then the bullish hammer, then it starts to push off the level. That's when I got into the 1 second and 1 minute charts and started finding consolidations leading to break and retests. It was all in this area. And then adding in as it went and took the break even stop out. So that was it. That's all I've been interested in today. Since then, I haven't looked at it. And yesterday we had some interesting activity as well. Let me see if I can remember where I got involved. I think it was, yeah, I used this level right here. This was that 15-minute momentum stuff right here. You can see that the price started moving down, pushing down aggressively. So the chart probably looked something like this when I looked at it. And you look to the left, you have very obvious support, and the price went right through, right? So that's when I put the level there, wait for the price to go back up to that level, retest and go down. And sure enough, it came back, and that's that retest area. Started looking for the short, and I think I took 2 stop outs or 3 stop outs and a break even. I don't remember, whatever it was. So that was this area. The retest was, well, could have happened. It didn't happen. And then I think I got into a long later on. Ah, yes, this was interesting. The long was here yesterday, Monday, before the open. If you look at this activity before the New York Open, you have this consolidation zone, right? Right there and right there, pretty much. Right in that area. So it's just doing nothing. And when I saw this, and then I saw it drop here and push back in, right? You can see it right there, right? Drop and then go back in. Got long in this area. This is where people talk about liquidity sweeps and such things. I just call it a false breakout, where it broke out, came back in, so went long in this area, and it started to work very nicely. The target was, I think, this zone right here, or maybe a little above, up in this area. And another one where it went, and one of the pullbacks here, I got out at break even after adding in. Sure enough, this thing just launched after that. But oh well, you can't catch them all. So this was a different kind of trade, not the ones I typically go for these days, but it was really obvious where it was a very clean consolidation. Clean consolidation. Remember that you don't want to trade inside it, as in you'll get just destroyed. But when you have a clean consolidation, you have clean breakouts, and then you also have clean false breakouts, which is a different case altogether. False breakouts. So I traded the false breakout this time, where it went out and came back in, which leads to a good breakout on the other side. All that happened. I just happened to get out at break even when I got messy after the open. Scaled in, I think it was a triple the size or something. That was about it, really, so far. And now, if we're looking at this, let's see what we have. Price is sitting in this area. You can look to the left. Obvious support area right about there, right? It's messing with the area. And going to the upside, yeah, you have the fact that it broke out of this previous support right there. But again, right now, nothing to play with. Just wait for it. You can see what it's doing. Now, it's in an interesting area, this level, but just because it's there doesn't mean you play with it, right? It has to get there and set up the right way for it to either go long or short. Right now, it's setting up to go sideways, right? And that's all it's doing, which is 95% of the time. 95% of the time, you shouldn't be trading. So as long as it's going sideways, it's not worth touching. And we'll see if we get a breakout somewhere. I like the lower highs over here. That could be interesting for a continuation. But then you're getting these higher lows as well so far. And not much to work with. We'll see. Zoom back and see what we have. Yeah, it's an interesting area. You can see lots of activity here. Got stuck here too. Yeah, it's an interesting area. Keep an eye on this. You don't know. I mean, it could launch from here today. Whenever it decides, maybe tomorrow, next few days, whatever. It'll launch from this area. At least we have some activity. I remember last week it was a mess, wasn't it? We had all this, a lot of time where we just didn't have much to trade, I think, here. Anyways, that's what I think of this. What's on your minds, guys? Anyone got anything interesting to discuss, talk about? Questions? Long weekend barbecues, 4th of July. Anyone had a good one? Fireworks? I think we had enough fireworks in Dubai. No more fireworks this year. We're done. So we didn't do all that. But other than that, let me know if there's something on your minds. We can go through it.
Did you know there is an indicator that highlights all the session for you? Australian, Asian, Europe. It's called sessions on chart. I don't use it myself, but since I'm seeing you marking it between the New York and the others, that could be maybe something for you. That's the only thing that the indicator does.
Cool. So it marks the sessions across the world.
Yes.
Cool. And the world is flat, by the way. Did you know that? I figured that out. I figured it out finally. Drove me nuts. Yeah, well, there's an indicator there. Personally, it doesn't matter to me. It's not relevant because I don't bother with the different sessions. I just bother with candlesticks. So for now, I've only got it marked like this, where the New York session is this darker color, and the rest of it is just this blue color, which I don't even set up. I don't even know how it's there. It's probably a setting somewhere. But yeah, it could be useful. A lot of people like to use that to start trading at certain sessions or look for trades.
No, I personally do not like it. I like it to be black. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Simple. Take it simple and easy.
Yeah, keep it simple and easy. I love that. Keep it as easy as you can. We can go into indicators. There are a million indicators. Here, look at this. I mean, where is it here? come up with all kinds of things, trending, and oh my gosh, purchase scripts. Forget it. I don't even have any favorite ones here at the moment. Just candles. Just candles. All you really need, candles and massive RVR. That's it. You can go, a few days, a few weeks without catching a trade, with taking a few break evens or a few stop outs. No big deal. Is when one of them goes 20R, 50R, 100R. That's it. That makes your whole month. You're just not bothered about it beyond that. It's a very nice thing. So just wait for a good one. Always wait for a good one. When you get a good setup, get into it, and then just maximize that RVR as much as you can. That's what I like to do. So I got this long here, but you can see the action was just choppy and messy. The buyers didn't truly take over and go. You can see every candle is overlapping each other, right? They're alternating between bearish and bullish candles. No point. So eventually got out at break even on this one. One way to have caught this move at the open would have been a simple ORB. You have the 15-minute candle right here, the first one. Break and retest and go. Very easy stuff if you like ORBs. If you like ORBs, try and trade bigger ones, 15-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute stuff. Those work. Those are easier than the 1 and 5-minute, higher win rate. And right now, off of this level, looks like it's pushing up. So we had this hammer right now that just closed, and since then it's pushing up. A lot of people will say this is your reversal signal, as in it came down and then reverse, right? With this big hammer right now, but it's not the signal I like to look at. Does anyone tell me why? This is not the kind of reversal hammer, even though it looks almost perfect. Come on, you guys know all the naked trading stuff, right?
Because the previous candles are too big?
In a way. Well, there's no room to the left. Inside this hammer, it's just been here in this recent time, right? If the hammer stuck out down here and then was a really big hammer, then I'd say, all right, this is interesting. There's room to the left in that hammer. This one, no, it's just simply chop. It's nothing but chop. Maybe found and buyer here, but really it's chop. If you want, you can squint your eyes and make a double bottom out of this. You got a bottom and a higher bottom, kind of, sort of, yeah, maybe. But again, not something I like to see. It's not clean. So I'd be very careful with this. This is one of those tempting ones. People who missed the whole move earlier would be excited right now in the last 5 minutes to go long, right? Be super careful. I mean, it could go anywhere. I have no idea. But the conviction is not there on the setup. Let's look at it. So let's say you put the level right on top of the hammer, right? And then let's zoom into the smaller charts. You got the 1-minute chart. That's where it is. What you want to see is a consolidation, breakout, retest. And I don't see any of that. You see this consolidation, bit of a hammer there. You just have momentum going up. Nothing more than momentum, really. So on this 1 minute, you could look at a double bottom, but really, it's not a clean one. You have the second bottom higher than the first. You even have a hammer in that, so it's there. But look at this. This went up and came down, and it's all zigzag, right? It's not a nice, clean arch, clean activity. You can see the wicks and everything. Not something I trust. All this is telling me is that it dropped down. Buyers came in very aggressively right here during this hammer, and they're still there up until this point right now where you can see the bearish wicks again. That's all. This is just momentum. So all the scalpers out there would have been super excited 5 minutes ago, and now done. Their whole life is over. Be super careful. You want to catch the big moves, really big ones, like go from here to up here. These are much bigger moves. You need a better setup than this. I have no conviction that that I could use to put risk on this. I'm not going to risk my money on this. No way. It's not there yet. Just wait for it. What I would like to see is a clean consolidation area, which I don't see it as very clean here. I see lower highs. So where's the firm resistance point where you can see a break and retest? I don't see that here. I'll move the level out of the way, and I don't see it anywhere. There's nothing here. So I'd be careful. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Now on the other side of it, what would be more interesting is if it goes up. So from this move down, it's nothing more than a pullback to the upside, right? Then put in a big reverse hammer, maybe somewhere here, and then off you go. Actually, this is where all that Fibonacci stuff comes in. We can do it here. See, this is the top. And there's the bottom. There you go, Fibonacci stuff. Those of you who like this. So there's the top of the move. It started there. There's the bottom of it. You want the retracement to go into this Fibonacci zone, retracement zone, and then catch the continuation down. Let's see if all that happens. That would be more interesting now than any of this reversal stuff. But let's see. I haven't used this in a long time, but we'll figure it out. Where's Amal when we need him? Huh? He's the one who talks about this stuff, uses it all the time. But today could be a good day for that. What we have here in this area. Yeah, I see this was a chop zone right here. Turns out to be right in the middle of that Fibonacci stuff. That is interesting. Here's a fun one. If you took the short up there and you caught the move, or you took the breakout from here, whatever, and you caught the move short, where's your target? Me, I would, I'll just put the target right there, just about in this area. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Right there. You can see that was resistance, breakout, and turned resistance into support. So that's your zone. So if you had this as your support and you caught that down, that bearish move, the breakout, it already hit your target. So if it gets back up to that level, that is not a retest. Once again, it would be a reversal going down. If you're looking at the whole breakout retesting, but on the completely other side of it, move these levels out of the way completely. And all you have is a bearish move, then a retracement. And during the retracement, if it gives me a big old reverse hammer, like the reverse of this one, then I'll put a level right on the hammer and go short from there if it sets up. So that could be a possibility, most likely in this zone, if that happens. So a whole lot of wait and see. Nice and slow, huh? Very, very slow trading. Anyways, that's what I'm looking at. What else is new in the world, guys? Anything new in the last 4 days? Did the world blow up? Another war? Another election thing? I have no idea what's going on. I've been sick for the last 1 week. I'm only feeling better today, mildly. So mostly just sleeping. Not doing a whole lot. Anyways, if there's anything on your minds, we can discuss it. Look at these screenshots here. Yeah, Tariq got a short. Mahi got it as well, I think yesterday. Good stuff, guys. Mahi with the measured moves. Carolina as well. Nice. Yeah, and Dustin caught a piece of it too. Look at that. Everyone's got some. Fun. There you go. All good screenshots. Arso, you got some? See yours here. 15. Yeah. Nice. Good stuff, man. 15-minute candles are
the thing is, what I do not like to watch all the time the chart, so I have to add in to bring my stop loss to break even. The only thing that I do is I get in if I'm certain are in positive. Let's say I'm going for $2,500, so I am nearly 1K in positive. Then I bring my stop loss from $300 to a loss of $30. You know my style. I do not like to bring it to break even because it's happened so many times. It stops me out and then went all the way to my target. So instead, I bring it always to a small loss between $30 to $80 with my 10 contracts. So that's the way I like it. The only reason why I look at the chart is to see if I'm certain are in positive to bring my stop loss to a small loss. That's it. After that, I go and do whatever I like to do. But definitely do not look at the chart. That's it.
All right, good. See, that works for you. In the way you tend to enter trades, it works for you if your stop is slightly in the negative, not exactly a break even or better. So that's a good thing that you figured out. That's something that really works for you. That's a tricky point. A lot of people don't take the time to figure out what are the nuances of how they trade, rather than just trying to copy a strategy. I mean, there's that, learn a strategy, all that's good, but then how do you tend to execute? Where do you tend to enter and target? Once you get some information on that, then you can make these little adjustments and figure out where your stop really needs to be.
Yeah.
Then you start evolving as a
It
trader.
happens for me almost every day. Even for today, I did not took the trade, but I missed that one out. But I showed to the people if I was, even if I would have taken that trade, I would have been, I think, on Nasdaq 100 was that. I would have been 1200 in positive. If I would have brought my stop loss to break even to a small win, it would have stopped me out and went all the way down. So instead of do that, so I say, you know what, to be break even or losing $50 is the same for me. So instead, I'm gonna trade that one, and I think yes, most of the time it's working. And if one time or two times it's not working, that's okay. The third time is working, so I getting 100 times more than the loss that I got.
All right, there you go. So you got a system that works and it's consistent with the way you execute, and that's the key. So no, good stuff. Good stuff. That's the key, guys. Really, execution is where the money's made. And we all talk about strategy, and there are perfect strategies out there. I can draw it up for you right now if you want. But then your ability to execute comes from many, many different human factors. And once you figure out how you function, then you can make these changes or these little adjustments that make a huge difference. And then then you'll see the results. You'll absolutely see
I
the
think Andrea asked you something in the chat.
Oh yeah, what do we got here? Andrea, how you doing, Andrea? If you look at the chart on a 4-hour time frame, don't you see a formation and retest? 4-hour time frame. I haven't looked at a 4-hour chart in a long time. Let's look. 4 hours. Whoa. Okay, my eyes gotta adjust now. Okay, let's get rid of all this. See what we're looking at. What's the question? See a formation and retest. Yeah, you could see that. So if you're looking at this area and then a breakdown, possible, and then you can look at a retest from there to continue down. I see that. What other break and retest are you looking at? I see this area here. This was a consolidation breakout. It moved into, well, looks like this area would have been a target zone. Right there, really, about there. What else? So, right now we've just had the prices on the move, but we have this consolidation that happened previously and this one as well. So these are just the most recent ones. Yeah, it's there. It's all there. But yeah, I don't use the 4-hour chart anymore. I'm just happy with the 15. So no, I don't. I wouldn't have noticed this stuff. Yeah, sure. You're welcome. Yeah, guys, back to real nuances in your trading. You really got to know what your abilities are, or not abilities, right? It's just how you tend to function. Don't go changing yourself, forcing yourself to do things. Just start observing how you tend to trade, how you tend to put on risk, and then how you tend to de-risk, as in move the stop out or start taking partial positions off. How do you tend to do that? And once you realize, oh, this is how I tend to do things. Anytime I see this, I tend to do that. This is my trigger. Once you have that information, you can start to slowly make little tweaks to benefit your trading. And for me, whenever I'm making a little tweak, I've only got one purpose in mind. How do I expand the RVR? How do I go from 5-hour trades to 100-hour trades? I'm only looking at that. So I'm not really trying to change my triggers or the way I function or any of that stuff. Go with the 80-20 thing. Don't change who you are. That's impossibly difficult. It can be done, but that's meditation and other stuff. Go with the easy stuff. 80-20. Easy is, what are the small things you can change that make a big difference? So think about that. And that's makes life pretty good. Here, I'll show you one that I've observed. If you look at this one from earlier today, put the level right there, and look at this. It came down, catch the reversal, right? I tend to observe that reversals are more complicated trades than breakouts. So in this reversal, you can see it went some distance, but look at that. It was a choppy mess. And knowing how I tend to like to add into trades, or I want to, up the position size quite aggressively and multiply the position size. If I'm trading reversals, I should be less aggressive with adding in. I should firstly de-risk it, bring the stop to break even, and then add in very, very, very selectively on pullbacks. So if I know that, then I'm more likely to have successful trades with reversals. If you look at something like breakouts, where's a good one? All right, we have this one. Didn't get a retest, but if you look at the breakout, see how much cleaner this one is. Break, and even if it was a retest, it would have been clean. But see how this just kept going, all bearish candles. When I get into these situations, I can go with my aggressive instinct to add in and multiply positions without too much fuss. So you can see the little difference, right? Just knowing what kind of trade you're getting into, you can decide whether this is the one where you can be more aggressive with adding in, or one where you got to hold back and put on the trade and then go play golf. Don't look at it. You have to know these little things about how you trade. For me, that's just one of those little things. But it makes a huge difference, right? Massive difference. So think about all that. That's important. All right. For now, what do we have? Came down. This big reversal is happening from that level that we identified, which was just about here. So reversals happen or happening without the setup I like to see. And I always like to say, when you're catching reversals, it's usually easier to catch continuations of reversals rather than the reversal itself. So if you try to catch the reversal, you'll be getting long down here or down here, trying to get long in this area, which you can see if you attempted it, it would be complicated. If it's a consolidation, then a break and retest, off you go. That would be so much easier. And I could even think about adding in a little more on those. For now, it's just going. Let's look at the 1 minute, see what we have. What do we have? On the 1 minute, you can kind of see the consolidation a little bit. If you put it right there, you can see that was a choppy mess. Got up to it, seems to want to go, but this is a consolidation. A bit tricky. If you truly believe in the reversal, you may even put it right now, put the level right about there. That could be an entry area for you. You have this consolidation, you have a good little breakout, wait for the retest and go. If you believe in this reversal, you got to have a target in mind as well. I wouldn't target the top because that's just silly to think that the price is just going to go all the way back to where it came from. I'll target halfway. Well, this makes sense. Over here, you have, well, you know what? Where's that other line here? Let's bring that in. Right about there. Typically, you can target halfway, but if you want to look at it, look at this level right here on a 1 minute chart. This was support, breakout, retest, and go. So this is a key area. So if you're getting long here, up to there, now this makes sense. You're basically trading momentum. You're trading the continuation of the reversal. Long in this area, stop right below, and then go. If all that happens, you can trade it. This is a 1 minute setup, okay? 1 minute chart setup, which is not something I like. I'm waiting for it on 15 minutes. A 15-minute chart, well, this was a breakout zone. The move already happened, but you can see this was support. If it goes up there and rejects, it could turn it into resistance. And this was very, very obvious support. Turning it into resistance would make sense and then go down. I'd wait for that. That's a different kind of reversal. That's the one I'd wait for. And you have the target zone right here. I may get into that later if it happens. Bigger picture stuff. And this level makes sense. Look at that. Keeps doing something interesting right there. So wait and see. Yeah, Andrea, good to see you too. Always good to have you in the room. Always a good time in here, right? I like that things are more mellow these days than this time last year. All wild, trading the open, lots of contracts, options. Everyone's all excited. Oh my gosh, look at that big P&L. Look at that momentum. Look at that. It's just it's time to evolve and move on from all that degenerate behavior and make some real money trading. So here we are now. Bigger, better, slower, much better, much less risk, much bigger RVR. Oh my gosh. Oof. Would anyone have ever thought a 100-hour trade is possible? I didn't even know it was possible. Happened to get into it and I'm like, wow, it can be done. So now that's all I want to do. Good fun, huh? What do we got here, Hamza? What do you think of waiting for higher time frame candle to close as a profit taking method? I don't really like that. Um, you see, I'll tell you why I don't like that. You can see it right here. Let's say you got into this trade right here. It's today's activity. At the first 15-minute candle, great big doji, which aligned nicely with the pre-market consolidation zone. Then you catch the break and retest. You go down with no target in mind. You simply wait to see a reversal or wait for, as you say, a bigger time frame, a 15-minute candle to close. You may look at this hammer, perhaps. Once this hammer closes, then you close your position. It'd be right here when the next candle opens. All right. In this case, you would have got that entry here, and then after fussing around from an hour or more, then you close it. So you can see, first of all, at an emotional level, it's going to mess with you. It's not going anywhere. And secondly, you actually would have made more money if you simply just target a level, right? Pretty obvious level, and you would have hit your target on this candle. The whole trade would have taken, let's call it 30 minutes, rather than 2 hours or 2.5 hours, and you made less money. So I don't really like to do all this stuff. If you want to not have a target and see how you can maximize the trade based on real-time price action, perhaps a trailing stop may work. Just trail some sort of moving average that you believe in. But again, that only works in a trending situation. This is hardly a trend, man. This is just opening volatility, break out and go. Real trending market. Okay, if in the 15-minute, this is not a trend. But if you look at a 1 minute, there you go. Nice looking trend, right? So if you're trailing it on a 1 minute, let's say you entered here, you're trailing a moving average, probably would have stopped it here. Exit, most likely. One of those EMAs, most likely. So that could have been okay. But I've played with all these things and they just, again, they don't bring enough clarity to my trading. I really like the RVR idea. I want to know before I get in the trade that based on the entry and the stop and the target, I have massive RVR. And then I want to expand on that RVR by adding in. If I can trade like that, that makes a lot more money than this. A hell of a lot more money. It's kind of ridiculous. So this whole trailing stop thing and waiting for higher time frame candles to close, it just doesn't add up. Doesn't add up for the way I see things. Once in a while, you'll catch a big one, sure. But that's once in a while. At least for my mindset, that's just not enough. So that's my opinion on that, on waiting for it, on going for it without a target. I'll never go in without a target. The worst that I've experienced in the trading world is momentum trading, especially at the open right here. If you look at this is the 1 minute chart at the open, New York Open today. If you were looking at momentum trading, let's say you didn't touch it while it was messy and you identified that bottom there, right about there, right? You can think, okay, 5-minute ORB going down. And so the momentum comes in, you enter short here, you gotta have a wide stop probably here. And you don't have a target because you're going in with momentum. And the way you exit is when momentum slows down, right? So this starts to go and it starts to fuss about over here during this candle. You can see this lack of momentum and you close the position. And you made maybe a quarter of an R or half an R, or you took off 80% of it with a whole lot of partials, right? You messed about with it and that's it, the whole thing's over. That's typical of these ORB traders. 1-minute ORBs are even worse, right? I'd rather not do any of this stuff where you enter without a target and it's just momentum. When you think you can read momentum and you think there's lack of momentum, you're out. I mean, the real momentum here is right here. The real move is right here. I mean, that's the real ORB right there. And even in this case, if you entered with momentum breakout situation stuff, like right here, you would have entered short. The stop has to be wide. It starts to go, and this big candle starts to push up. If you haven't already taken a lot of partials, you're probably going to close it right at the top here. Pretty close to where you entered. Explain to me how you're ever going to make a 5-hour trade doing this. I mean, just 5-hour. And I'm telling you, 5-hour is a joke. It's small. Even when I start a trade, I would almost never get into a 5-hour situation. Most of them are 10, 20 hours to begin with. And then I add in further. So, trying to trade momentum. I mean, I did it for years and, you end up with 2R, 3R if you're really sharp with it and you know how to take advantage of gamma with the options and all that stuff. But really, there's a lot more money to be made in a lot easier way. Going with futures, going bigger, thinking slower, going slower with the market, all that stuff. So that's what I would recommend. That's where I've made the majority of my money, is just thinking much bigger. It started with the 30-minute time frames, as you guys saw the fractal pattern stuff a couple of years ago, and then moving on from there, going bigger and bigger. So that's what I think of it. Anyways, now what do we have? This 1 minute activity. You had that support, sorry, that resistance. Yeah, this resistance. Oh, there we go. Now, if you believe in that retest, this is it. This is the entry. You have the consolidation with the higher lows. You got the breakout with some increased volume. You have the retest. It just happened. A 1 minute chart retest would be, it came to the level, bounced off, first bullish candle, the new high off of that, which just happened right now, stop right below, and that's how you would get into a retest. If you believe in this whole reversal thing. I don't. It's not there the way I like it. But on the 1 minute picture, it's decent. It's pretty good. You got this reverse hammer, which of course, is aligned with the bigger picture going down. Let's see what we have here. What about that Fibonacci retracement stuff? Is that in play here in this area? Let's move all this out the way.
Yeah, it hit it.
It is. Yeah.
At 58.
Yeah, just about makes sense. Perfect. There's a short. If you believe in it.
Yeah, I missed it.
That's all right.
I'm waiting for that low to be hit at 62.
Yes.
Low.
Further lower here, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I rarely use this Fibonacci stuff. I can't remember last time I used it. Let's go into the 1 minute. What do you have? Yeah, it goes down and up, and then right here, as soon as you see this reverse hammer on this chart, you enter short right below it, basically the new low with a stop right above it, and target the low of day, or I would just target, let's see, you got, the buyers really took over here, and this is a choppy zone. So right about here, you can see even on this wick, the buyers were right there. So just target right about there, 7538, just about. If you believe in this kind of trading, what I would like to see is anywhere here on this pullback, if it truly is a pullback and a continuation down, I want to see a really good clean reverse hammer and then another leg down. And that would set up a good 10, 20R kind of situation that which you can add into. For now, I don't see it. Anyways, it's all good fun. It's all in the right place. At least we have a market that's on the move. That feels good. A little different from what we had recently. Yeah, this level is very, very interesting. Where'd those lines go? Right there. That's a very interesting zone. And also right down here. Anyways, cool. Anyone getting involved in this? Nobody yet?
No.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for that pre-market low.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it wants to test it.
Yep, that makes a lot more sense. This is a situation where you put an alert here a couple hours ago and just leave it. You'd be coming back to it just about now. Anyways, let's see if we can watch it since we're here. Yep. So that reverse hammer is negated. It already made a new high. And again, I don't think this is a retest of this previous breakout. If it goes up to this level and you want to take that short, it's a reversal. You got to see a double top or some massive reversal pattern on a 15-minute. Anyways, 1 minute gives us more examples, so we can watch it. Ollie, you're in long. All right, look at you. Catching along, huh? Did you catch that, was it over here? Retest of the breakout. Continuation of this reversal. You know what? I think this is an interesting place on the 1 second chart. Let's have a look. Let's see. Where did there it is. That's that reverse hammer. OG Ollie 7548. Oh, you're down here. Nice. You got him long, way lower. Good job. Got to share us your whole thinking there. Share with us what you did. Always interesting. So on this 1 second chart, there's that big reverse hammer that you saw on the 1 minute chart. You can see the volume spike in this area and the drops. The sellers were there for sure. The price is right back there now. Again, lots of volume. And those sellers aren't quite there as they were before, right? Because if they were, well, it would have been dropping. There's more of a balance between buyers and sellers now. So big volume spike here. Then you see something like this, you want to wait for the break and retest. And see where it dropped a little here already. We got, again, lots of transactions in this area. You got a clue from that previous peak right there. So an interesting place to look at it. Again, on this chart, guys, I'm not watching every candle. It'll drive you nuts. Just look at when you have volume spikes. You can see it right there. This was an obvious spike, even on the 1 minute chart. Right here, you got a big spike right in the middle here. Another spike right in the middle of this range. Now we're getting it to move away from these volume spikes, which happened here. Breakout, is there a retest in this? Not yet. Again, more volume spikes just now. So lots of transactions happening here. Very interesting area. There's a lot going on. Ollie, you're in long. Where are you going? 8,000? Way up. Big old swing trade. Let us know. So again, on this chart, on this 1 second chart, it's no different than any other chart. I'm just looking for a consolidation. A consolidation just anchors everything. You have a consolidation, then you can get a breakout and a retest from that consolidation, and that's what sets it all up. So on this very small scale, you can see this is a consolidation. It's not going anywhere. Lots of transactions happening right here. You're getting a few spikes in volume as well. You can see them. So just wait for it. Even added here. You can see where you had a spike in volume right here in this consolidation, then the breakout happened. Same thing. Nothing new in these charts. Here's another consolidation, breakout, retest, almost perfect. Here again, this peak right here, resistance, breakout, retest down here. Off you go. It's all there. These are the kinds of entries I try to look for. When you see those screenshots that I share with you, I know they're really small. You can't really see them with screenshots, but this is the stuff I'm looking at. Just a consolidation leading to a breakout, to a retest, and off you go. Another volume spike just now. And let's see. This is where I use the volume, just on this 1 second chart. No other charts. It just doesn't make sense to me. What are we having? Lots of transactions. Big area of interest for a lot of people, huh? Can you imagine scalping on this thing? Looking for consolidations to a breakout, get in on breakouts with momentum and then try to judge it. There are people who do this stuff. And wow, what a mess. What a mess. I think it's useful for entries with a tight stop, massive RVR, and you can take 2 or 3 attempts at it. No big deal. That's all I really use it for. It doesn't want to go anywhere. Beginning to see these lower highs, lower lows. So it's grinding down. So I wouldn't call this a move at all on any chart. It's just choppy going down mildly. If that's happening, then right here you have this area of resistance pushed up from there. The buyers were aggressive most recently right here. It was very close to that area where the buyers came in. I'd expect a volume spike right about here. This could be interesting. 775.55, right about this area. It happened a little above it so far. There we go. The buyers were a little bit higher. Where at? They're just above. But anyways, you don't play with this. Firstly, I want to see it in an area I believe in, and then a 15-minute chart setup that I believe in. Then I'll get into this chart and try and find an entry. But again, you can see, look to the left, right here, just recently, right? Lots of transactions. Again, it got in here, and again, it threw in a lot of volume. A lot of transactions right here. This is what you want to see in a consolidation. There you go. There's a breakout now. Look at that. Lots of volume on the breakout. Off you go. There you go, Ollie. Hitting a target for you. If you're looking for retest, wait for it to come back down. This is your retest zone right here. I would like to put a stop below there if I'm doing this. There you go. It's already pushing up a little. Anyways, there you go. 1 second chart. You chickened out, Ollie? Oh, come on. What kind of trading group did you come from, huh? What did they teach you over there? Chicken out of trades that are huge. 1R and 2R and partials. Get the big stuff. I'm here only for the big stuff. That's where the fun is. Anyways, good catch on this. Getting long down there. Good stuff, man. There you go. Back into this area at this level. Very interesting. So you can see the momentum breakout. And then it's just choppy. But you're right up in this level. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. This level is what makes sense for a reversal going down. Again, it was support. Broke out. Fractal patterns tell you this could turn into resistance. Off you go. It was resistance previously as well, just about. So wait and see. Again, need a 15-minute setup, 15-minute candle setup for a reversal going down. Like you had here, you had a bit of a hammer, right? This came down and a reversal going up. So that's what you need here. Fun stuff. Any 1 second chart traders in here? Only me? It's a lot of fun, I gotta say. Don't take it the wrong way though. Not 1 second chart traders. It's just using the 1 second chart for an entry. Just that. Just an entry. Everything else happens on the bigger picture. Right here. What's on your minds, guys? I can just look at charts all day and tell you what I think. I think you've had enough of that over the last few years. What's on your minds? What do you want to discuss? You gotta let me know. Eventually, I'll start talking about golf because I'm tired of talking about candlesticks. If you don't tell me what to talk about. So I'll leave it on you. All right, let's get into the one. You can see
That's a
it's
strong push.
Yeah.
I don't think it's coming back. No, I'm biased.
You're biased. Long. Go long.
No, I'm biased short, but yeah.
Right. Sure.
I don't want to go long. But it's maybe because it's lunchtime, all the algos are playing.
Yeah, there are a lot of little myths we can come up with. It's lunchtime with the algos.
I mean, they're always trading algos. Algos are 100%, I think, in futures.
We can also say that the invaders from Mars have landed.
Yeah, I know.
We can come up with anything, right?
Yeah.
I love it. The trading world is so entertaining. There's so much bullshit.
We gotta sell commercials somehow.
Yeah.
Gotta get people's eyes and ears.
Yes. The whole world of media. Eyeballs always sell. Numbers of eyeballs. The Western world has pioneered that. It's amazing.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. I got nothing else to talk about. You don't forget, I'm a trader, which means most of my time is very, very, very boring. I only touch the market 5% of the time. Mostly we got to find entertainment while we're waiting for a setup. So we should find things to talk about. Just about NASCAR if you like. All right. So all this momentum upwards, and see again, stalled a little bit right about over here. You can see where it was choppy. 1 minute chart again. 15-minute.
Yeah, 15 ES. It looks strong.
Yeah. Well, you see, you're going right back up into, just look at this chart where over here there's room. Up here, it's been here. It's been here plenty. It's been going down. It got choppy, then it broke out. This area, it's been here a lot. There's a lot less room to the left here than there was down here. So it's not, I'm not so interested in a long over here, especially if you see this 15-minute chart. Also, there's no consolidation for the breakout, not yet. Over here, you see this consolidation leading to the breakout. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Here, it's just on the move. I'm not looking for a long. If there's anything, to my eyes, there's only two possibilities. One is it gets stuck here, starts consolidating, or it's a short.
Comes right
It could
back.
even be long, but I'm not interested in interacting with the long at all. Nothing. So just wait for this. So let's go again. 1 minute chart.
NQ is they're both hand in hand, so it's kind of following each other.
Yeah, they're usually pretty similar.
Yeah.
Let's go into the 1 second. There could be some insight on this. So there you go. You can see where that big push through it happened. Again, as we said before, this is an obviously interesting area.
Yeah.
Lots of volume, lots of transactions happening here. Pushed up a little higher, came right back into where that volume happened. What do we have? More volume here. Again, inside.
Tested that
Yeah.
support. Yeah.
Yeah, this whole area, again, lots of shares trading hands or contracts, whatever it is. So, a big area, lots of interest. If you do like this sort of thing, setup-wise, this is a near perfect setup. You have this consolidation with the higher lows, breakout with tremendous volume, went up and it came down for the retest, and look at that, it came down slower than it went up. And sure enough, you get your retest long about there, stop below, off you go. This is the setup I'm looking for on a 15-minute chart. On a 1 second, of course, I'm not going to take this unless I see it on a 15. But if I see that on a 15, and I see this on the 1 second, that's it, man. I'm all over this. I'll try this, I'll stop out 3 or 4 times if I have to. I'll keep getting back in because this is a very good setup. And then you get those big RVRs. Break and retest again. Nothing really unusual. Right there, you can see that resistance breakout, and look at that. The retest is perfect. Right to the penny.
Yep. Ollie had it right. Good job,
Yes.
Ollie.
Yeah, Ollie, you got to hold on to these things.
Hold it
man.
next time.
Yeah, hold on to it.
Again,
Partials will
hold
get
it.
Well, don't hold it. Let it go. Just let
Yeah.
it go.
Yeah, let it go, exactly.
Partials will get you nowhere. Always just let it go. Add into it if you can and leave it alone.
Where would it be you have added in if you were to take it long like Ollie did? Were there some places maybe you could have showed us where you may
Well,
have added or may not have added?
yeah. So let's say on this setup, if I was interested in this right here, you have the consolidation, get the breakout, get the retest. I'd enter the retest probably in this area, stop below. And once it hits this top, which happened here, then I'd bring it to break even.
Okay.
Then after that, right now, I'd wait and see if it can really it's doing a little consolidation here. If it gives a break and retest here, then my new ad would be probably on that retest. Looks
On
like
the
it would.
retest, okay.
Yeah. And the new stop, I want it below this resistance. So it would be somewhere in this area probably. Because the original stop was here. I can add it. If you had, let's say, 5 contracts, you can maybe add 2 and bring the stop here, something like that.
Okay.
So again, it's nothing more than break and retest again. nothing more. Same old thing.
Okay.
But you need consolidation for that, which on the 1 second chart you get plenty of. Plenty. So if I was in this, my entry would have been here probably, and it would have been at the stop would have been at break even by now. And then just leave it because I know there's a lot of sellers up here and could have easily dropped back down from there. So right there. And same thing on the 1 minute chart. If the 1 second chart's too crazy and I can't read it, then just do the same thing on the 1 minute chart. Looking for the same kind of action. Much slower, of course. Look at that. The 1 minute chart looks like a big deal, right? After the 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really not. So, anyways, back to the 1 second chart here. Look at that, another volume spike right there. As it's pushing up, there you go. And that volume spike happened in this area, which looks like a retest of this resistance zone. Very interesting. Again, you can see where it's really put on the top here. So break and retest would be the ad. Let's see if it happens. We can do it.
Consolidating, yeah.
Again, guys, you really don't want to take setups on this 1 second chart. Just wait for it. I take it on a 15 minute. I only use this really for the entry and maybe some ads. This is not the basis of my trade. The whole core of the trade for me is on a 15 minute. This just helps with some accuracy and getting a good entry. And what I'm most interested in is the short. If that happens, this whole long thing doesn't make sense to me. On the 15 minute chart, it's gone down. This is just a pullback. Wait for the reversal if that happens. Otherwise, yeah, just gonna sit there and consolidate, and that's the end of the day. That's happened before. And again, for me to go long, it would have to consolidate, a good consolidation, then a good break and retest, all on the 15 minute before I think about it long. You had plenty of momentum going up this way. And I don't see an obvious point of resistance anywhere here where it could come back and bounce off. Again, a breakout, or rather retest. There's nothing obvious here. It's all just wicks in different places. Another way to have done this with fractal patterns that I have done before is look to the left and identify support and resistance. So if you identified this as support, you would have put this line on yesterday and just only looking at this area as support. So when it got down here, if you didn't get a setup for the long, you'd leave it. When it got back here, if you get the setup for a long, then you take it. So you're only looking at long here because the most recent time it was here, this is where buyers truly took over. So that's another way to do it. I haven't done that in a long time. So right here on the 1 minute chart, it would have been this. You'd have break and retest, and off you go. And the retest happened just about that resistance right below the level, just in that area. So that would have made sense. Again, I haven't done that in a long time, but that's part of the fractal pattern strategy. So you have that one as well. Many different ways to trade, huh? All right, what do we have here? 1 minute chart, and looks like it wants to go down. Again, on the 15 minute, yeah, this is a big area of interest. No setup. I'm just gotta wait and see. Anyways, that's good fun. Cool. Well, look at that. Just about 8:30 now. It's been an hour. I think I'll call it a night here. Everyone good? Anything else you'd like to discuss before we end? We're a sleepy bunch of people, huh? After the 4th of July festivities.
Avi,
Yeah, hey, person.
what's your thought about it? That some people, I don't know, I don't like to think that way, but maybe could be something that we can look at it. You have to look which side the London session will break the Asian session from the upside or downside. That means most probably the New York session would continue this trend actually. That means if the London session breaks it above the high of the Asian, that means more likely the New York session would continue the trend to the upside. If it's the opposite, it's going to be to the downside. What do you think about that? What's your thought?
You know, Brian talks about that all the time. He does stuff like that. He looks at that, and he's probably going to come on in the next 20 minutes or so. I don't pay attention to that. I never studied it, never looked
Okay,
at
then
it.
you're like me. Thanks.
Yeah. For me, it's 80-20, right? Candlesticks. Anything that brings more information, typically I reject it. Anything that brings more clarity, I embrace it, typically. That's my philosophy. So for me, clarity comes from big picture candlesticks, nothing else. Anything else you want to throw on the chart, man, you're going to find I'll just disappear. I don't want to be here. It's like that. So,
Okay.
yeah,
To the
keep it
guys
nice.
from the session, previous session, I think Hamda was there. Did you see what I told you? It will go all the way up and test exactly if you have a cross candle. First time it will in the Nasdaq 100 in the 15-minute chart. It will first test the wick, and the next time it's gonna be the body.
You know, it makes sense if you're able to observe that consistently with your back testing. Then try and trade it. Trade it in the sim or trade it very small. Begin to trade it and then see, observe how you tend to execute it, and then you can develop it from there, right? If you believe in that, if you believe that sessions, highs and lows need to be tested, and then big moves begin from those areas, you know, it all starts with a belief.
No. That was not the case. For example, if you have a candle that looks like a cross, and you can use that, for example, you see, yes, it looks some sort of a price level. I can use that. You can use that as your target because first time look, for example, at, okay, in your case, not, but the cross candle that you use as your price level. The first time, usually it will come here, no, to the left side, actually, the last one. Go
This
to
one,
the lowest one. No, down.
Down
When
here?
you got your, yes, that one.
This one.
The one that I have on Nasdaq is actually the same. It tested the wick, got rejected actually right away, and the next time it's gonna go for the body. In your case, it went all the way for the body. But when you go to Nasdaq 100, you will see that the first time it tested the wick and got rejected. Next time it will go for the body. You can use, for example, those cross candle as your exit, as your target, for example.
Yeah. Right here, it did. It makes sense. It makes sense. Again, if you're able to see that consistently, and then consistently enough where you can trust it to put your money at risk,
Yeah.
those are the questions you have to ask yourself.
Is it possible to go to Nasdaq 100 for 1 sec?
Yeah, what's the ticker?
Is US 100 cash?
What, US 100? Is that it?
Cash.
Cash? This one? FP
I
markets?
have from Vantage, actually. It doesn't matter which one I think do you take, actually. I have from Vantage or
Okay.
NQ.
Yeah, NQ. Hamza says NQ is the same thing. All right, let's just look at NQ. This one, right? All right.
Look at the cross candle there. Yes, exactly. It got rejected. First time it will go test the wick, and the next time it's gonna go test the body. So if you want to use it, for example, as your target, you can use, for example, those candles for your target for your exit of the trade, for example. And I said to the guys before you started your session here, you can use the wick as your exit because next time, I don't know, it will reach to the body right away. So yes, the wick and the body should be the target. It's up to you to decide which one would you like to take, or you're willing to take the risk if it will reach the body or not. But the wick, it's gonna be the bare minimum here.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Uh, the way I think, I would still, I like paying attention to wicks. Wicks make a lot of sense, but I'm looking for big picture wicks, like right here, and then I'd identify that as a potential level. It was support, and break and retest, off you go, something like that. Big wicks make a lot of sense, but then I zoom out, looking at a single point on a chart like that, pretty zoomed in. My eyes don't work that way, but nothing wrong with it. It makes sense if it aligns with your personality and the way you tend to perceive candlesticks. That's a good thing. And then you can just simply hone it in, right? That comes with screen time and bouncing ideas off people, that sort of thing. Support system. So yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. Thanks, Barca. Very interesting. Always good to hear different ways to get at the market. I like that. You never know what could come from it. Okay, I'm seeing this right now, just as we're looking at this. Right here's a level. Right here. Drop down, put in the double bottom. That's the top of that double bottom. Break through it. Here's your retest and boom. I mean, I would look at this.
What
Anyways,
you thought about it, for example, the level that you showed there, sometimes maybe I like to take the highest closing price because it resisted to close above that price. It tries with the wicks actually, but it couldn't go through, but it took some time then to break through. Maybe sometimes the closing price, for example, from the one below, go a little bit below that. No, the below with the cross candles actually.
down here.
No, left side actually, left side.
The closing price down
Yeah,
here.
no, a bit above that, a bit above, not a bit below, a bit below that
Up
actually.
here. This one.
No, the one
Crazy.
candles before that, those two.
Yeah, these two.
Yes, exactly. The closing price, it resisted to close below the price level there. It took some time, for example, to break through. So maybe that one is even better than the wick itself in that matter. If you have some candle here, they're staying there for some times, for example. So it could be because they're resisting to close above that price, whatever reason.
I see what you mean. Candle closing prices on big time frames work. A lot of people like them, especially when you get into the 60-minute candles and beyond that, 4-hour candles. I've never used them effectively. Using closes, I only used to use the previous day's close for a little while, but I stopped using that. I prefer the wicks. The wicks tell me about buyers and sellers more than the close. Closes, yes, where the auction closed, so that's a settling price, and I get it. But as far as putting on risk is concerned, I'm really interested in buyers and sellers. Where are these major big buyers, and when are they taking over the market? At what point on the chart do they tend to take over the market? So if the price comes back there, are they still doing that? And are they stepping higher? And the reverse for sellers. That's where I'm thinking. So with that kind of train of thought, I tend to go with the wicks. But again, it makes sense with the closing price. The other side of it is with closing prices, well, that's where the auction ended. So that's a key point. Does it go long or short from there? Does the price get stuck there? That's a key area on the chart as well, right? So
I like personally to use wicks more than closing price. But if you have something like that, it's stuck there, so you don't know which wick could it be. Maybe that matters sometimes. For me, for example, I got that experience. The closing price is a bit better because it is resisting somehow to close above that. But again, if I have a clean wick, I like to use the wick as well. It's much easier actually.
I see what you mean. Well, there's no wrong way to do it, right? There's no wrong way at all, except the way where your losers are bigger than your winners. That's wrong.
Yeah. And since you're talking about wicks, you should be state corrected. It retested the wick of the cross candle that I said in the 15-minute. Now it's getting rejected. And for the moment,
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, buyers were here previously. They broke through, and it could easily turn into resistance, which turns into the best possible levels, if you like levels. So that's what
everyone likes levels.
Everyone likes levels. I love that. No more moving averages, guys. No more spaghetti on the charts. Okay. Cool. Very good. Thanks, Barca. I like that. Good fun. Cool. Anyone else? Anything else on your minds? All good? You all know what you're doing? Cool. All right. Thanks for coming, hanging out, guys. It's been fun, as always. And we'll try and come back tomorrow and do it again. Take it easy, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Avi.
Thanks, Avi.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.
Thank
Get
you,
better.
bye.
See ya. All right, there we go. It all works. So the screenshots I shared with you guys earlier was actually the level was out here, something like this, and you can see these lower highs. So that's that descending wedge. And then wait for the breakout. And this level down here is the target area, zooming to the back or scrolling back to the left. You can see this was resistance, got messy, and then the buyers came in and went. So I figured if I'm going short, the buyers came in here and again in this area. So I'm going to take off the short over there. So that was the idea that I was thinking at the time. And the chart looks something like this. So price action was in this area. But here's where the fun really happened, I think. More into the fractal pattern stuff. So these levels, you have them. I'm going to put one more on. You can see what happened here. Right about there. Whoop. Right there. Gosh. I got to learn how to draw straight lines someday. Look at this right here. You have support and lower highs, which is basically another descending wedge inside of this bigger descending wedge. So a little more complex form of a fractal pattern, right? More like fractal wedges, if you like to call it that. That's pretty much what I saw. So I started paying attention to this level right here. I put this on, and the price action came back up to it. And that's when I started to get interested in the short. And I entered it short over here. And then the news came out and it dropped straight into the target and went beyond a bit. So that was the trade. It was basically a breakout, the retest, and off you go, which was basically, again, a fractal pattern or a smaller descending wedge inside of a bigger descending wedge. And of course, I didn't anticipate the news to come out, and I was just going to hold it until the target. But the news came and it just went fast. It happened in one 15-minute candle, so happy about that. Don't have to sit here for 8 hours with this thing. So that was it. Basically, a fractal pattern, retest, breakout, nothing else really. But also the bigger wedge is all valid. You can just get into the breakout here if you like. But this is a breakout. This is not the retest. This did not do a retest. It just went straight down. So I would have struggled to get into this. I prefer to enter it like this, where the breakout already happened, and then you catch the retest. So let's look at the 1 second chart. We can probably find where all this happened earlier. Way back. Right there. Was it there? No, wait. I'm all confused. Yeah, so that was a target. That was the entry area. And yeah, so 1 second chart's a mess. Anyways, as it goes through the level, that's the breakout happening, and then the retest, you can see it pretty much respects the level, right? And plenty of opportunities to catch the short. If you look at shorts, this one right here, the last one, is a perfect double top. You have on this chart, you have a very bullish piece of action and a very neat looking double top, where you have the top and then a nice gap, and then the lower top, sort of an odd one here, but get the lower top, and the entry could be as the price is going down. It's typically where I would enter, probably in this area, the stop right above it, and then it just went. So that is a perfect entry. Here I would struggle to enter because I don't see any reversal setup, and then you get it to go pop up and come back. Very tricky. Let's see what else. Here might be interesting. You'd look at this as a consolidation. Break and retest didn't quite happen. Yeah, this would be tricky. See, this is a 2 tops here as well, but it's not a double top. It's all just in a downtrend, and then it makes a higher high. So it's all messed up. Can't rely on this. You would look at this perhaps as a double top and enter short here with a stop here, but I don't think I was looking at this at the time. Yeah, this was way earlier. So the time that I got in was, yeah, just about in this area. So this was nice, 1 attempt, and it worked right away. So you get in firstly with the big RVR. So the target was down here. You can see the entry and the stop, and then the target. So it's like 20 to 1. And then adding in got tricky just because it was really moving fast. So the entry up in this area, I believe here I moved it to break even. It was probably down here. You can see this. Once it got into this support area, that's when I'm at break even. So the stops at break even then, because there were buyers here, they could be right back in there and push back up, right? So no need to risk it. So that's break even. And then you have a good old ABCD pattern. In this case, usually, I don't mind catching breakouts here. So if you're looking at this ABCD pattern, you get a breakout. You can put the add in right there, enter there, and tighten up the stop. And I'm a little more aggressive with entering these adds than I am with the initial entry because I'm not adding risk. I'm just adding size. So the stop's up there, and then you can just bring it over here, basically double your size. And that's the idea. Just keep going with that. This one was interesting. I remember this one where it goes sideways and then it gave you this reverse hammer. So after that reverse hammer, I brought the stop in to here and added up in this area. So now the size is probably triple of what I started. That was an interesting one. I'm not sure I added after that because this area got choppy. Maybe I did one more over here. I can't remember. And then it went pretty quickly. So there you go. 40R. No big deal, huh? It was about 40R. I risked, I think $450 or $500 and came out with like $22,000 or $21,000, something like that. About 40R. So that's it. Not too complicated. It's nice when you can get one or two of those in a week, right? And then you don't need to do anything else. Not too motivated to trade after that. And going back to the 15-minute, yeah, it's been a mess. That's the drop, and then every candle is overlapping the previous candle, right? So you just don't want to touch it. But anyways, this is something different. I don't think I've talked about this much before. This is a fractal pattern within a consolidation. I've always talked about fractal patterns as support and resistance levels, breakouts, or reversals. This is something else. So something a little different. I don't do these often. I do it when I see it. Today I happen to see it. So it's a good one, fun one. It worked out. Right? Cool, Brian. See you later, man. But anyways, yeah, since then I don't see what the hell the market wants to do. This whole drop happened because of the war news or Trump news or whatever's going on. Since then, nothing. Anyone get into anything? Anything fun? I'm here for probably another 5 minutes. I gotta run. So, anyone got anything to discuss? You know what's interesting? I put the level down here. This is a target area. This is not an entry area. If I'm looking at fractal patterns for an entry down here, I know I'd look firstly. I'd look at the price action is coming down just immediately to the left. You have this one. This is the first one, right? Then you look to the left from there, and you're trying to see, was this even interesting? You can see that it was. You have generally a resistance area and then generally support. You can push it up a little bit. You can see right there the buyers came in. So it's this whole area. So if I was interested in an entry, I'd put the level right about there and think of this whole area. And if you look at this 15-minute picture, it's a decent looking double bottom. You have the bottom and the second one's higher up. You have a little space in between and you can go. It's not ideal. I'd like it to take longer to form, but hey, it's there. And as always, I always tell you this is a reversal, and with a reversal, it's always choppier than a breakout. Look at this. This is a breakout. Here's your breakout. Here's a retest. Off you go. And it was pretty much clean. Of course, the news was there that helped it along. But here on a reversal, it's always more complicated. So it's more difficult to add into your trades, add into your positions. You have to be more conservative with it. And sure enough, that's what we have today again. Of course, reversals, what's interesting is once you get in, you get naturally big RVR compared to the breakouts. So there are pluses and minuses, but hey, you gotta trade it as you like. I prefer these breakouts if I can catch them, great. Or rather retest of the breakouts, which is right here, this little one. And yesterday we were looking at this reversal, came down and went up. This one happened without the setup I like to see. Double bottom, but again, not a great one. Just like today, just not big enough, not enough space in it to be trustworthy. On the other side of it, You could look at this whole thing as a consolidation, break, and retest and go. There's that. But it's not clean, because if you're really doing that, you're putting the level right there. You're saying that that's resistance. You have momentum going through it. And the retest happened, but it came right into the level, and it took about 45 minutes of messing around and then go. So not too clean. I'm glad I wasn't watching it. I may have attempted this long once or twice if I was watching it. And it looks like I would have been stopped out a couple times here. Anyways, that's all I'm looking at. Everyone good? You all know what you're doing? You know how to trade? Catching all this stuff? Don't watch the market too much. This is not the kind of day you want to watch the market. This will just drive you crazy. You'll see these wicks up and down. You'll think there's resistance up here. The moment it pops into this area, you'll attempt to short, then we'll go up from there. Or right now, you'll think this is a breakdown. It's just a false breakdown, perhaps. It's just a mess. Wait for it to exit this whole area, I'd say. This is how I know when not to show up and go do other things. Basically no room to the left. So, yeah, time to go do other things. All right. Cool. Well, I'm off. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad I was able to pop in for a few minutes. Yeah.
Cool.
Take it easy, guys. Yeah, Parsa's not going to be here today, but tomorrow he'll be back. And I'll try and pop in again as well tomorrow.
All
So
right.
take it easy, guys.
For your
Thanks
day.
a lot.
Good night.
Have a good day.